our language and our content objectives. These are new from yesterday. Yesterday we accomplished our content and our language objectives, so today we have a new one. Okay? Our content objectives is I will compare and contrast two books. Very good. And how we're going to get there today is I will compare and contrast two books orally. I have we're going to do a really quick review of our vocabulary words for this week. So I'm going to give you a card and I want you really briefly to look at it, and then we're going to play a little game with it, okay? Alright. Okay, who has pond? Oh, so just turn, oh, I showed you mine, just turn it over. Alright, okay, she has pond, very good. Who has hatched? Ah, she has hatched. Who has family? Oh, who has nest? I have nest. Who has garden? Oh, she has garden. And I have duck. Very good. Okay. Hand me your cards. Yesterday we went over our story structure of the book. Does anybody remember what a story structure, what that is? It has 4 to 5 parts in it. What's one? Setting. Problem. The solution or how it gets solved. Characters. And then there's one that's like the bridge from the problem, and then there's a bridge to the solution. What is that? That solution is the answer, how it was solved. But what do they have to do to get to the answer? They have to do the events or things, different things that they try to solve it. Yasmin?
You have a problem, you have to get over it. If you get over that bridge, there's going to be a bad happen.
Right. So if you have a problem, if you do go over the bridge and you try several things to fix it, you're going to find the answer to it, right? Very good. And so today we're going to review what we've done so far. We talked about the characters. Who are the characters in the story? A little girl. Holly. Chicks are in the story. And where's the story taking place? Where's the setting? Fernanda? It's at the house. Be more specific. And we learned yesterday that there was kind of a problem that the mom figured out. What was the problem? There wasn't a pond for the ducks. There wasn't a pond for the ducks. And you guys, we talked about possible solutions you guys would come up with. Is that right? And this is what you guys came up with. Use a pan of water. Move to another house with a pool. They should go to the zoo every day to let the ducks swim and go to the lake. So those were some possible solutions that you guys came up with yesterday. I want you to read the rest of the story. You can read to the end, and I want you to see the middle events. Find the events that they did, the different things they did to try to solve the problem. Okay? You may go.
Could you explain why you broke up your picture walk and you also sectioned off your book?
That was something that picture walks was something that I struggled with, because I would do a picture walk all the way through the book, day one, and then I would come back and start reading it. But there was no cliffhanger for me to start on the next day, and so there wasn't that enthusiasm or that excitement to see what happens next, because they've already seen the entire book. So I break it off into sections, so they might only see 3 pages of the book the first day. And they'll do a book walk on just those 3 pages. They're not allowed to see the rest of the book, and they're not allowed to read the rest of the book. And that allows me room to have them do questions about what do they think is going to happen or what might happen. And it, like I said, it gives them a cliffhanger. It makes them want to come back to reading group. And so on day 2, they'll do a brief summarization of what they've read, and then they'll go and they'll read the next section or do a book walk and then read the next section. But they're not allowed to see the end of the book until day 3. And so it just gives them more, it heightens the experience of small group.
Wonderful.
Excellent job. Boys and girls, I want you to come back. Our problem was the ducks didn't have time. So what were the events that they did to fix that problem? What were some of the events that they did to fix that problem? Now you're going to have to prove it to me in text. So you're going to have to find it in text for me and prove it. Okay? So I want you to get into your text and find what they did. What did they do to help solve the problem? And as you tell me, I'm going to write it down for you. Now, are we going to tell what happened? Are we going to tell it in order? Or should we mix it up? We need to tell it in order. Okay? Annie. Well, we know that they had a problem. What did they do to solve that problem? Prove it in your text. You have to show me in your text. I'll come back to you. Holly. Does it tell you who got it from the basement? So you're going to have to infer. Who do you think went into the basement? What do they have to do before the ducks can get in? You're missing one event. I want you to go and read on page 11.
How did your students actually do with finding and proving the solution?
They did not do very well at all. We had to really work on that one, and it actually did not go as smoothly as I wanted it to or as I thought it would. And so in the lesson, you'll see I actually spent a lot of time going through and probing them and trying to get them to see, to find the solution. And I wanted specific answers. They were wanting to just give me general answers, and I was like, you need to give me specific and you need to prove it. And so that made them go back and reread and pull that information out of the book, which is such a great strategy for them to go back and reread and be able to find that specific information in the text. And so they did well at the end, but it really took me to reteach it kind of in the small group setting and to give them specific feedback of what I expected for them to do.
Okay.
The pool. What do they get to do? And enjoy the sun. Holly, they get to swim. Okay, I want you to close those books. We have a new book that you guys are going to start. And remember, our content and our language objective says we're going to compare and contrast 2 books. Okay, so our next book is called Fluff and Feathers, Spikes and Skin. And I'm going to turn to a specific page. And we're just going to do, I'm just going to introduce the book, so we're not going to read it today. But I just wanted to start getting you thinking about this book. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to look at this. 10 seconds to look at this book. Explain to your partner how this is compared to the other book. How is it different than your other book? So this is a lot different than our story that we had today, isn't it? Yeah, very good. This book is a rectangle, and that's a smaller rectangle. Alright, so tomorrow or on Monday, we're gonna give this book out. We have some new vocabulary words, and we're gonna begin reading specific details about ducks. Alright? Did we do our job? Did we compare and contrast 2 books? Did we compare and contrast 2 books orally?